The drama set the stage for a two-part sermon. 2 for the price of 1, no extra charge. The first part, I'm going to keep my white coat on. You're going to get a medical lecture, whether you want it or not. We're going to talk about our spiritual hearts. When we talk about anything medically, we begin by understanding the scope of the problem. And so without divulging any privacy laws, raise your hand if you or somebody close to you has had heart disease. Almost everyone. You see, Linda, that's why I get home late. That's the reason. But in all seriousness, heart disease is and remains the #1 killer in this country. Deaths from heart disease exceed all cancers combined. If I show you a map of the country divided by county, with the dark color representing the highest rate of heart disease, you can see here in Pennsylvania, we're right in the midst of it. If I showed you the same map showing the distribution of tobacco abuse and obesity and high blood pressure and high cholesterol, it would look the same. So I'm going to give you my 5 steps to a healthy heart. Recognize the symptoms, choose your parents wisely, control the risk factors, eat healthy, and exercise regularly. We'll go through each of those briefly. Recognize the symptoms. Symptoms of heart disease, of a heart attack. Chest discomfort. Now, it may not be pain. We all perceive things differently. It may be a pressure, or squeezing, or heaviness, or sharp stabbing pain, or a burn. We're all different. Anything in your chest could be your heart. You may be out of breath. You may not be able to exercise, or you may have no symptoms at all. Or you may be like this poor fellow with an elephant sitting on his chest. Step number 2, choose your parents wisely. The cartoon says, eat less, exercise more, and invent a time machine so that you can go back and choose parents with better genetics. We can't change our genetics, at least not yet, but you can at least be aware of the risks that you may have. Family is also important in terms of the environment, learning how to eat healthy, learning how to exercise. Step number 3, the risk factors. The cartoon says high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, high anxiety. Getting high is no fun at my age. And these indeed are the risk factors that we can modify. Diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking. Step 4, eat healthy foods. It's not about a crazy 6-week diet. It's a lifetime of eating healthy. And it's more about what you do eat than what you don't eat. Fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. The healthy fats, the unsaturated fats from plants, and limit saturated fat from red meat and the trans fat that's in those good, tasty pastries and cookies. And then avoid the hollow calories that just make you hungry 2 hours later. Soda and pasta and the white bread, unprocessed, and white potatoes. Step 5, the most difficult step. Exercise regularly. These are the minimum guidelines. 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's the minimum. Anything you do above that is great. We're talking low to moderate level intensity, a brisk walk, a bicycle ride, a swim. Okay? Regular, much more important than episodic. Every day, great. Do nothing for 2 weeks and do it all on a Saturday? Not such a good idea. And once you've achieved this, aerobic exercise, adding in some resistance or some balance or some flexibility training with weights or machines or yoga is a fantastic add-on. Now, this idea of exercise is not new. It's old, and I'm quoting from Plato in the 4th century, and he says, in order for man to succeed in life, God provided him with 2 means, education and physical activity, not separately, one for the soul and the other for the body, but the 2 together. With these 2 means, men can attain perfection. And this, of course, is Michelangelo's masterpiece of David, standing 17 feet tall. I'm afraid that if Michelangelo were sculpting today in Pennsylvania, I'm afraid it would be disappointing to us. That's where we are. I want to transition now to our spiritual heart by telling you a story. It's a story I made up. This is a statue that sits in the main entranceway to Johns Hopkins Hospital. I've walked past it many times. And what's special about this statue is the big toe. Because the big toe is smooth. It wasn't that way originally. But over the years, thousands of people walking by have felt the need to touch and to feel some contact with Christ. And that toe has been worn smooth. I think there's a message and sermon in that. Here's my story about Jesus, the great physician. A professor of medicine from the Galilean School of Medicine challenged Jesus, asking him, of all these things to keep one's body healthy, what must I do to live a long and healthy life? And Jesus answered, what does the medical literature say? The professor replied, eat healthy foods, stay physically active. And Jesus said to him, you have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live.